Hey, what's up, my YouTube fam? I'm back. This is Larry with the best credit repair channel. So today we're going to be talking about charge-offs, but I'm going to take you through a series of videos because for me to go through everything on all the different strategies of charge-off, the video would be way too long. And people's attention span is not that long, so they probably get disinterested in the video. So I'm going to make much shorter videos, and I'm going to go over everything about a charge off. We're going to talk about how you should attack your credit report to improve it, what's the most damaging, what should you attack first, we're going to cover everything, but it's mostly going to be geared to charge off. Next, I want to say thank you for all my new subscribers. There's been steadily, this channel is growing. It's not growing as fast as it could because I'm not being as active as I should, and that's something I'm working on. Trying to manage too many things at one time, but I still am trying to expand the channel. There will be more videos. I know I've always said, but there will be more videos, and the videos will expand on how to build your credit, what kind of credit cards. We're going to be talking a lot. Something else, there's been actually been taking up my time. I've been studying to sell like IUL insurance, which is another great thing that I'm going to be talking about more on my channel. I'm just all about trying to help people make good financial decisions so they can grow their wealth and know what they need to do. So more videos on investing because I'm a big investor, but I don't talk about that on my channel and all the things I know I need to start adding to my channel. But it's kind of the direction I want to go with the channel. So just keep hanging out with me. You will get more and more. I just got to get refocused back on getting these videos out to y'all and then expanding the information and the knowledge to y'all. So that's definitely what I'm focusing on and what I'm geared on. But today we're just gonna go over the first steps about charge-offs. What are charge-offs? Why they're the most damaging? How you should attack your credit report. Because some people really don't know what should they do. How should they start improving their credit report? What should I do? Should I start with the collection accounts first? What should I do? Should I take care of late payments? Should I, all of those type of questions are answered. And then I'm going to really break down that stuff to you to help you make those better decisions. So as everybody know, a charge off is an account that typically after between 120 days, 180 days, the original creditor has said, hey, we're no longer going to collect on this debt. It's uncollectible. So we're going to throw a charge off. So a lot of people think once it's charged off, like I don't owe the money, they charge it off. You still owe the money. It's just saying on the reference of the corporate or their business books, they're no longer going to be trying to collect on this debt, or they plan on selling this debt to somebody else, or they're going to write this debt off and then they're going to file a 1099-C to the IRS. Now, there's a lot of bad information out there saying, well, if they file a 1099-C, they wrote the debt off. The debt is still collectible. It is just a IRS requirement for a business. Why is that a requirement? Because a business, their debt, their revenue, their debt, their losses all have to be calculated on the value of the company. For example, if you have a company that is worth $1 million, but they have $500,000 of debt, right? And they want to sell that company is not going to give them $1 million because they would assume the debt. No company is going to assume $500,000 of debt, right? That's why it's important that every company has accurate books. So just because they wrote that off doesn't mean that it's not collectible. They still have to keep accurate books. So if another company want to buy them, they're not getting shafted. A lot of the reason, right? And you wouldn't want to buy a company and assume debt that's not yours, that you don't even know that you're going to be collecting on, right? So the charge off doesn't mean that the account they do not have to collect on that account. We're going to get deeper in this in other videos because there's other things that we'll discuss on how you can kind of get around that, or what court cases have said, and a bunch of other stuff that we'll get deep in other videos. But I just want to cover the surface, right? So those debts, they are still on the books. They are still items that are collectible. Now, depending on your state, there is a statute of limitations. In Texas, 3 years. California, 3 years. In other states, for some states, it's 8, 9, 10 years to collect on a debt, right? So when you have a charge off, remember, it can still be collectible. You still could be sued on it if you're inside the statute of limitations. They're going to report it on your credit report, and it could stay on your credit report up to 7 years, right? So that's kind of the basis of a charge off. Now, what is the most that what when you look at your credit report and you have a collection account, charge offs, what should I attack first? If I have negative information, what should I attack? I tell everybody, and most times when people have charge off, it's the biggest amount. They had a car loan that was charged off. Maybe they got some furniture bill that was charged off, right? So they're kind of figuring out, what should I do? Or they have some collection accounts. So you have to understand, and don't let nobody tell you, and I've been studying this credit stuff for years. I've understand FICO, that they would tell you that if you pay a charge off, it's not going to improve your score because it's still a negative item. That's what they're going to tell you. But what they're not telling you, how does FICO grade a charge off? So you have to understand how FICO grades a charge off. When a charge off is open, this is why it's so damaging. First of all, there's a balance to that charge off. It's a negative balance that goes against your debt to income ratio. It's also going to say that that debt is past due. For example, you had a $10,000 loan that they charged off. They're showing a balance of $10,000. Then when you look down, it's going to say it's a past due balance of $10,000. But since it is no longer on a payment plan, now they're saying you owe the $10,000. We charged off $10,000. You're not under any kind of contract anymore for arrangements, so you owe $10,000. That's $10,000 past due, right? That's on your credit report. Now that account is delinquent. And you're going to look down at your 2-year payment history. Every single month that charge off is open, they are reporting on it. CO January, CO February, CO March. So if you go 2, 3 years and they still haven't got rid of that account, it's still showing you have a charge off status for 3 years on your credit report, right? It is damaging. The most damaging thing on your credit report. If you cleared that up, even if you settled that account, and we're just going over all of it. We'll talk about how to remove charge-off strategies, but I want to go over this part first. Even if you settled that account, you had that $10,000 account, you talk to the creditor, and the creditor say, you know what? We'll settle this account for $2,000. So now that account is settled. Okay, I'm going to pay the $2,000. That account goes to a zero balance. Your past due balance go to a zero. It's no longer delinquent. And the next month, say if you paid it off in September, October, they cannot report on that debt. It's no longer they're going to report it on it. So that debt over time becomes older and older and older and older, right? But think about this. But if you don't, every single month, they're going to keeping that account as new as possible. That's what the creditor is doing. He is keeping that account where it's fresh and new on your credit report. And we're reporting he still owed his money. We're reporting he still owed his money. He still owed his money. which kills your credit report. And the debt to income ratio, remember, you don't pay that debt. You got 3 or 4 charge-offs worth $20,000, $30,000. You're trying to get a loan. That, when they run the credit, say, well, you're $20,000 in debt and you're asking me to give you $5,000 or $10,000. That's why so many people get denied, right? So many people get denied because they're not understanding that your credit report is giving a clear indication of the debt you still owe, which could raise your debt to income ratio, because they're still going to figure that out. They're still going to put that in. Will they be able to afford these payments, right? The second thing is, who's going to give you money if you still owe money? Now, I'm going to keep it real with you on this channel. It is so hard, and so many people kill their report with inquiries trying to get loans. And then if they get a loan, they're getting 18%, 19%, 24%. There's plenty of companies that will loan you money with bad credit, but they are keeping you in poverty, right? They are sucking the money out of you. And when you start looking at the amount of interest that you're paying, so if you got a car note, you're paying 18%. You went out and got some furniture, you paying 18%. You got these credit cards that's charging you 18%. If you just go in and calculate the amount of interest that you pay every single month, it could be overwhelming. It could blow your mind, the amount of interest. I've seen people paying up to $1,000 a month in interest, when if they had good credit, they would probably be paying $300 a month. $700 you could be investing back into yourself. You know what $700 could do if you could invest that in yourself every month? And people don't understand that amount of bad credit is what's keeping people from moving forward, right? So charge-offs, what I want to talk about, the first thing I want to tell you is we talk about understanding a charge-off. It is the most damaging thing when it comes to a negative item reported on your credit report. I would always attack the charge-offs first before the collection accounts, because for one, the collection accounts, debt buyer, they can't report any type of payment history. If they are, it is inaccurate. They cannot, because for one, you're not under any contractual agreement to make payments to them every month. So they can't report late 30 days or any of that. It's none. And if they are reporting that it's inaccurate, you should be disputing that. So they're not. It's just on your credit report as a collection. You owe this amount. It's a collection account, right? That if there's other things, like if they're reporting that or reporting a past due balance, inaccurate, you could dispute that. But a collection account doesn't report the amount of things a charge-off does, right? Which cause your account to be punished so bad by FICO. So that's what you need to understand. Always attack the charge-offs first, right? You want to look at your charge-off. If you settle a charge-off, I put this to many people, and I've proved this. It's like my score went up on that chart. I settled these charge-offs, and my score went up 30, 40 points. Yes, it's going to go up because of how FICO looks at charge-offs. And as it becomes older, it is less impactful to your credit score. I've talked to people that had charge-offs on their credit report with over 700 scores. And it's like, well, I want to get the charge. Say, you got a 720. That is a clear indication that charge-off is not even really hurting you. There's other things you can do to raise that score up some, but that 720 is not going to keep you from getting any credit. And that charge-off is old, been settled, taken care of. You got to remember, creditors want to loan you money. That's how they make money. They want to loan it to you, but they just want to make sure by loaning you this money that you have the ability to pay it back. Right? We all make mistakes on our credit. It's how we move our credit forward. That's why I preach to people. It's about your credit profile, right? We talked about it's the most damaging thing. We talked about Why is the most damaging? It's going to say it's past due. It's going to show a balance. It's going to be reported on every month. It's going to be in your 2-year payment history. Really a 7-year payment history. It's going to be in there depending on how old it is, right? You just you need to make sure that charge-offs at any aspect, review your charge-offs, look at your credit report, look at when that account was open. Is the balance correct? Right? Are they reporting your payment history correct? You have to look at every aspect of that charge-off if there are items that you need to dispute to try to remove that. But charge-offs are so hard to remove, right? That's why so many people have so difficult, right, about charge-offs. I get calls all the time about charge-offs, and I just keep it real with my clients. Charge-offs are very difficult unless we can really find something solid to get them to remove it, get the creditor to remove it. But a lot of times the creditor is not going to remove a $10,000 account because they found one inaccuracy. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, and I'm not saying that they won't. I'm saying most likely it's very difficult. That's why so many people, I talk to people all the time. Well, it's one thing on there is inaccurate. Yes, but a lot of creditors will prefer you to take them to court, right? And and they understand this. They understand, well, yeah, they could take me to court, but they owe me $20,000. So even if I catch a couple $1,000 fines, right, doesn't already mean that I'm going to remove it from their credit report, right? So you have to understand that stuff, right? You have to understand where you're at, what needs to be done with those charge-offs, and what you're faced with. That's the main thing I want to discuss with you. Now, there's a difference between an auto charge-off and a medical bill that was maybe charged off or in collections, right? So remember, with medical debt, there's other things that come into play. Are there any HIPAA violations? So there are other things and other rules and regulations that are different that could help you get a charge off that could be a medical debt removed off your credit report. So, it's nothing wrong with settling a charge off. So many people just try to get out of these charge offs, and I'm telling you, in most cases, they fail. And that's why even with me, when I take on clients and it's like, well, I want to get these charge offs removed, there's something reporting inaccurate, I say, listen, in most cases, the creditor is not going to release this. The credit bureau is either going to come back and give it, and the credit say, oh, it's reported inaccurate, and the credit reporting agency is going to send you say it was verified as accurate. Then you're going to have a choice. If it's truly inaccurate and you tried it, you're going to have to take them to court, right? But the creditor already knows that and knows that this is the amount of money you signed the contract. So what leverage do you have to actually get it removed? So those are things like you really need to be paying attention to. I don't want to make this video real long. I just want to kind of cover the importance of a charge off, how damaging it is, that those are the things you should be attacking first before a collection account. That's what you should. Two most important things. The three most important things, if you look at, get your utilization down, get the charge-offs. If you can't get them removed, you want to get them settled, you will get a jump in your credit score. I promise you, you will. You want to settle these accounts, get these accounts from reporting every single month as a charge-off every month. Get your utilization and stop making late payments. If you do those three things, you will see a vastly improvement on your credit score, even with those charge-offs. And I can prove it over and over again, because a lot of people never talk about your debt to income ratio on your credit report. Remember, as you clear this debt off, you are reducing the amount of money you owe, and you're reducing your debt to income ratio. That has a factor on your credit score. It does. That's why some creditors says your utilization is too high. Your installment loans are too high, because they're indicating that it is a part of your debt to income ratio too, which is punishing your score. So just something I wanted to put out. I'm going to get deeper into these charge-offs. The next we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about strategies to get to try to get these charge-offs removed. We're going to get into strategies, 1099-Cs. We're going to talk about how to look at your charge-off account to see any inaccuracies, how it's reporting. We're going to go back over that. I'm going to give you actually an example of what a charge-off looks like, how it looked, and how it's most damaging to your credit report. And then we'll go from there. And the last class, we're going to get deeper into some real deep strategies on. We're going to just talk about the 1099-Cs in depth from the IRS. We're going to talk about court cases that people have got charge off removed from their credit report because how they address it. We're going to get into all of that in the next three videos that I do on charge off. So I appreciate y'all. Hopefully, I woke up some people on about these charge offs, and we're going to get deeper. If you have any questions, you can email me. My email is in the description. It's also lcoleman at Advanced Loan Credit Services, which I got up there. And if you're looking for a very good, solid, the work on your credit, check out, email me about my master dispute package. I know it's on my website. I know I've had a couple people that have, I think they're having a difficult time knowing how to download it. So if you're having a difficult time, go and then shoot me an email. I could send you an invoice and get the master dispute package right over to you. There's tons of information in there. Definitely very helpful. I've even added my book that I was doing on credit with a lot more information in that master dispute package. So just let me know. Shoot me a message if you're interested. Shoot me an email if you're interested. I would take care of you. So that's pretty much it. But we got a whole lot more to talk about these charge-offs. I appreciate y'all. If you have any questions, leave a comment, shoot me an email. And like, subscribe, and share. And I'm out.